you think of that video? What do you think of the video?
Getting controlled by money.
Oh, did it? But then, no, do you know when I said to you about the money? Obviously, we're controlled by money. We all know that anyway, right? But what I was saying to you, right? What I was saying to you is, you got to understand that money's not worth jack shit, and that's what that video was getting at. Isn't it? Money's not worth fuck all. Because at the end of the day, like they said, at one point, money was dictated by how much gold you had. And then obviously in 57, when Nixon turned around and said blah blah blah, they're coming out of that bollocks. Obviously they made a deal, and then money, instead of being controlled by gold, is now controlled by oil. So the more oil you got, the more money you got, as such. But let's be honest, money's not run by anything. It's not even run by oil. It's just, look, if the government want to go out, America done it, yeah. You know they caused the recession in it back in 2008, but yet they're fine now. America, it's down to the Americans that we went into the financial crash. Yeah, that's what, because it was one of their biggest companies, the same brothers, I can't remember what it's called now, the same brothers crashed, and obviously that's what made the whole financial market crash. Because I told you, innit, the reason it crashed was because obviously what they was doing, they was changing things around on the computer systems.
Yeah, but I thought it was to do with like people borrowing money from banks and then not paying it back.
Yeah, that is basically what it was, yeah. Because what the banks were doing is they was changing, say for argument's sake, you're on 30 grand a year every year, yeah, so that would make you a B-star lender, or B lender, right? Look at your league table, yeah, you've got C, look at it like your grades in school, you've got C being shit, B being alright, A being good, then you've got A star, A double star and A triple star, yeah? So that's the way the categories worked. Right, me and you would probably be in C or B, because we only earn a certain amount a year, our partners don't work, whatever, blah blah blah. So you realistically, you're a band C. But what they were doing is they was changing things around for them. So then all of a sudden, so say for example, we went to the bank and they go, so all we can lend you is £100, because that's all you're liable for, because that's what your bank group, that's how much you earn, that's all you can afford to pay us back over 25 years is £100. Yeah? So that's your mortgage, right? So the banks can earn more interest off you, because don't forget, if the banks collapse and you don't pay your money back, they still get their money. Yeah, for insurances and whatever other scammy things they do. Right? I don't know all of that sort of shit, but they're always going to get their money. So no matter what, by them lending, they're always going to get their money back. Always, yeah, always going to get their money back. So it doesn't matter who they lend to. So why they're sitting there scratching their heads thinking, so why are we only lending to people who actually can afford it? Let's lend to people that can't afford it, just make out they can. So what they was doing, they was getting someone like you, turning you from a C into an A, or an A star, or an A triple star. Do you know what I mean? So now all of a sudden they're going, yeah, we can lend you 500 grand. You're never going to be able to afford that. I'm never going to be able to afford that. But the bank says you can have it, and you're like, sweet, yeah, I'll have that. Go on and buy myself a nice big house. You know, my house is my insurance. If I have to, I'll remortgage and we'll get out of it. And then before you knew it, smash. Everything, they've done it to too many people kept folding, and that's what I'm saying. You go into like America,
so it's that though, isn't it? What I just said, that it's about people buying money and then not paying it back.
Yeah, but it's down to the banks, isn't it? Because it's the banks that are lending them the money, or banks are giving them false information, making out they can give them this, that and the other, when they know full well they're never going to be able to pay it back. And the best way to make money is through debt, yeah? That's how they make money. That's the best way to make money is through debt. Yeah? The best way to make money is through debt. That's it. And then obviously with that, you've got a load of other things that come with it, innit? Like war. You know? Because you've got to think, right, the Middle East, when it comes down to the Middle East is the richest place for oil, yeah, in the world. Yeah? And then it's funny, ever since like the 70s, even since President Nixon, 60s, 50s, 60s and all that, they've been bombing Baghdad, Iraq, Iran and all that shit. You know what I mean? They've been bombing them fucking cities for years. Us going to war with them a fucking 10 years ago, it's a load of bollocks really. It's just, again, they want to get in there for the oil. And like obviously every time they blow them up, they look like they're doing them a favour, then we can nick more and more oil out of there. But that's what's really going on. They're taking oil and making money off of it. Because you've got to remember, when the Americans come out of gold, obviously they had to find something to back the amount of money they was printing. Because obviously the amount of money they was printing was a lot more than what they had in gold.
Yeah.
So, what do? You make it into oil. So they go and make a deal with the Saudi Arabians. They're going to be happy because they're fucking be billionaires for the rest of their life. Why do you think the Saudi Arabians get away with doing whatever the fuck they like? They don't get done for nothing. They killed a geezer a little while ago. You know what I mean? A couple of weeks back they fucking killed someone. I can't remember the story, but they killed someone a couple of weeks back. Nothing. No one's bothered. They just sweep it under the carpet. Yeah, because at the end of the day they need the Saudi Arabians, because the Saudi Arabians control the Middle East as such. You know what I mean? And they're basically like America is for the world economy sort of type thing. The Saudi Arabia are for the Middle East economy. You know what I mean? They hold the whole economy up for the Middle East.
Yeah.
They're basically the powerhouse. So if they say something, basically the Middle East have to do it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when you've got someone in that power, America's going to do a deal with them, isn't they? So America's going to do a deal with them. So then America's all what? So what they do? Saudi Arabia get to sell their oil to everyone, because no one really needed oil before, but now all of a sudden it's everything. It's for everything. It's all your fuels. Every fuel you can think of, they use the oil for, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. So every fuel, every bit of energy you use is the oil they're digging out of the ground to look at. That's how it all comes about. Right. So they're making you need it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, because you need it, so then the Americans do a deal with the Saudi Arabians. The Saudi Arabians control the Middle Eastern part of the world. So they're just like, well, we've got all the oil. You need the power, you pay us. And the Americans are like, all right, we'll do that, but you've got to only sell it in US dollars.
Yeah.
So if you only sell it in US dollars, because when we buy, that's why they say a barrel of oil goes down to like $8 or $80 or whatever, and we're still getting charged $230 for like on the road type thing. But the garages are only buying it for $80, where they should be selling it to us for like 78 pence a litre. You know what I mean? But no, they're not. They're selling it for £1 fucking 36 a litre, £1.39 a litre. Because that's how they make the money, innit? Because it's all taxed all the time. And this is what I'm saying. The government at the moment, if you just look, you've got to remember from the 80s as well, yeah? Everyone in the 80s were cashing out. Everybody, yeah? Everyone, just fucking Bagnums will tell you about it. Right? You go up and you talk to some of the blokes that we've worked with, they will tell the old school boys that they should come around with envelopes, giving everyone their envelopes and their wages. But guess what? If they do that, they don't know what money you're earning, innit?
Well, you reckon Bagnum's done that?
They did do it, everyone done it. It wasn't that Bagnums were crooked, it was just that's how everyone paid each other. But the government got a seat in the back. I think it might have been Maggie Thatcher that sort of worked it all out. But, you know, if you're sitting there, right, and you've got, 5-6 million people getting paid cash in hand, how do we know how much they're earning? They could be telling me I'm earning 600 quid, I'm only paying tax on 600 quid, when really they're fucking banging away £1,000 a week. So that's £400 from 10 billion people, which is £400 million worth of money, not getting taxed. So what do you do? How do you solve a problem like that? Put it in a bank, because then it's all on a computer screen. What are you getting away with? Jack shit. Because it's all there on the computer screen. You can't get away with fuck all. And now firms won't pay you cash in hand. Because at the end of the day, let's make it law that it has to go for a bank. Because then by going for a bank, we can keep track of it.
You saying it was cash in hand, and that was it. It was basically cash.
Not everybody paid cash in hand, obviously, but a lot of people paid cash in hand work back then.
No, but I'm saying you work for a company like we are, and they will pay you cash in hand.
Yeah. I don't know if they paid. No, it was obviously some taxes. Some of them, like a company like Bagnum, say, would have taxed your money, then gave you your cash in hand. Yeah. So that's a little bit different. But I'm talking about like the self-employment part of things.
Because I remember I used to get a brown envelope. I used to work for my mum's uncle.
Yeah, but I bet you any money that was cash in hand work.
No, he put in my money and then there'll be a snip in there what his tax and that, he'd do my tax.
Oh, well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, but the thing is, you can do it. Say for argument's sake, we went and done a job, right? 50 grand job, just for argument's sake. Me and you won a job, it was worth 50 grand. Right, with that 50 grand, I'm going, fuck this. If they pay this as cash, we'll say to them, look, the job's 10 weeks long. Yeah? Give us £5 grand a week. Payments, cash them. That's 50 grand of untaxable money, innit? Because that's going to go straight home in my shoebox. No money, that's not getting taxed. It's not. No one's going to know about it other than us. Yeah, I'll write you a receipt out, but I ain't going to write my real name on it. We'll put a different name down and then hand it to them. And that's how you get away with it. You know, the thing is, the only people in this country that I believe are actually intelligent enough to do this are pikeys. Like you said, yeah, pikeys are clever because they only work cashing out. And they're not off the grid.
That's what we need to do, though.
Yeah, but until everyone starts doing it, but you can't because then governments won't give you no fucking money either. You know, I mean, not governments, companies. Companies won't pay you cash. They won't pay you cash. It's like self-employment now. Even self-employed companies, 90% of them or 80% of them, like a big chunk of the self-employed companies now, won't say, "Oh, look, there's your money," unless you go and work for a company, right? Because I know certain trades, yeah, they'll go and work for a company, they do the job that day, and then they get paid cash on the job.
Yeah.
Right, that's the only way now that you can get away with it, sort of thing, and you could like swindle to make out you've only earned 200 quid where you've earned about 500. Yeah, because when you work for a self-employed company, even though you're self-employed, whenever, like Woodgrove, yeah, Woodgrove for instance, yeah, with Woodgrove, they paid your tax and that for you. And then you got your money. Even though you're self-employed, they will pay your tax for you. Where realistically, if you're self-employed, you should be getting all your money, declaring that, and then paying it.
Yeah.
So what they're doing is they're stopping that as well, because rather than having all them people that are self-employed being able to do that, now they're stopping it. They've stopped that as well, because they'll make the company still have to pay the tax, whereas they'll just tax them more money. You get what I mean? But yeah, that's all the small businesses and all the little-minded ones. When you look at like the bigger businesses like Google, Apple, all these mad ones. I mean, they're £1 billion turnovers, £1 billion. In other words, profit margins are billions. Their actually profits are in the billions. But what they do is they write half of it all off into, I don't know, expenses, all that. You know how it works, man. I've showed you how to do it on the tax form. Yeah. And then they go into corporation tax and they end up paying £2 million out of probably £10 billion profits, because all they've done is just made out they paid out more money. And it's all fake. Government know it is, but there's like grey areas that let them get away with that shit. But yet someone like me and you owe them £1,000 and they want to sling us in prison for it. That's what I'm saying. Look, at the end of the day,
why the fuck are we going to work now then?
Dude, look, listen. At the end of the day, yeah, because you have to work. Yeah, that's the control measure.
To get stitched over.
Yeah, you have to work, right? That's the control measure.
You have to work to get stitched.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, the only reason you work, right? The reason you go to work is because they've made it now, so you can't have nothing without cash, without money. Yeah. So, you know, the days are gone where you could just go out to someone and just say, "Oh, look, I'll do this for you, you do that for me, we'll swap over." Because no one believes in that no more. It's all about money. Everyone's believed that money is like, you got to have it, you got to have it. You haven't got to have it, man. Look, if everyone just went, you know what, bollocks, I'm just going to look after me and myself. And then just, you have a little bit of somewhere to live, you know, you find somewhere to live, build yourself a little. Because look, I'm not being funny, when it comes down to land mass as well, like, who does that, like, we're looking there now, who does that actually belong to?
Say the government, innit?
Yeah, but why do they own it?
Yeah,
but why? Right? Who gave them the permission to? The government, right? Everyone keeps saying the government owns it, right? Really, if anything, it's the Queensland.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, the government will put in place, right? Because basically, you know what the government's for, isn't it?
Yeah.
What?
Taxation.
No. Why was the government put in place in the first place?
No, you have told me what.
Right, the reason the government was put in is because, where it was, obviously the kings and queens back in the day were taking the piss that much that they would just do what they want when they wanted. And they basically, it was basically like the Roman Empire, isn't it? So they brought in, the government was brought in, and like the Senate it was that started off in Rome, they was brought in to obviously give the voice to the people, so then people, they could listen to what the people were saying and relay it to the fucking kings and queens, so then it'd give them a little bit of fairness, you know what I mean, rather than slavery and all that sort of caper, right? And then now look at what they turn it into. We're slaves to the pound, that's all we are, we're slaves to the pound.
Slaves to the what?
Pound.
Pound?
Yeah, to money.
Yeah.
You're slaves to money. Yeah. People are slaves to money. We go out to work, right? They go, "Oh, you're getting paid £15 an hour." No, I'm not. I get up at fucking 4:45 every single morning, and I don't get in until I don't know. Look, you know, I leave my house at like 5:30. Well, about 5:15 every day, yeah? And 90% of the time we don't get in till about 5:30, 6 o'clock. So you're doing 12 to 13 hour days, right? You should be paid from when you get your ass, leave the door, and then when you get back home again. Because that is your work time. Just travelling to work. Why are you not getting paid to travel to work? That's part of your work day.
Yeah.
Of course it is, isn't it?
I think so.
It's part of your work day. So why are we travelling 2 hours to work and not getting paid for it? 2 hours back, not getting paid for it. So I'm doing 4 hours a day worth of work-related stuff. Look, travelling to and from work is work-related. Because if it weren't, I wouldn't be doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, that's another thing, like, you know, you work your wages out from the time you get out, like, the time you leave your door to the time you get back in your door. We were doing between 12 to 13 hour days, and then when you take off the amount of money you get stock tax and what they rob you with and all that, all the money you pay tax and that, what you actually clear, you know, the other week, it worked out £8 an hour. People on the fucking dole get more than £8 an hour. Yeah. Well, they don't get given £8 an hour, but obviously they get given their benefits, then they don't get no, then they got all their rent paid for them. Yeah? And that's without anything else they're claiming for. This is where we've got to come off, mate. Right, then there's without anything else they're claiming for, isn't it? So what do you think? Who's don't want £8 an hour to stop the fuck up?
And they don't have to leave their house.
Nah. And all they do is get up, play PlayStation all day, smoke a couple of zoots, and then go back to fucking bed. Or go out selling drugs and making even more money and fucking killing people. And we're paying for them to do it. But then the government want you to have that attitude because then you get angry with them. And then you divide. And there's another conversation. Division. Isn't it? And division is another conversation, isn't it? Because look, what's the difference between you, someone called Winston, and someone called Wing Wang? What's the difference between them? The colour of your skin and maybe the way you look, yeah?
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's the only difference between them. But that's not good enough because if you know that that's the only difference, you look a bit different. I mean, look at me and you, we look different. You're ginger, I'm brown, like brown hair and all that. You know what I mean? You're ginger now, but they're not gonna. There's not enough of a contrast there to try and make a difference. So just because that geezer sitting next to me is black and I'm white, there's a bigger contrast now, isn't it? There's a pigment in his skin that's a different colour to mine, so they can work on that. So let's make up something that we can think of to like fuck everything up. All right, let's make up racism. There you go, racism, segregation. Huh?
Who made that up?
Well, I don't fucking know who come up with the idea of racism, but someone has, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? And all it is through segregation. Through segregation is less numbers. And all the fucking idiots that sit there going, oh, yeah, you're racist this and you're racist that, or this, that and the other. Alright? You know, whenever you talk about all that sort of shit, all you're doing is feeding into the propaganda of the fucking, what the government needs you to do. Rather than going, well, if you actually go on the street and you have a look about what's going on the street, right, and you actually look at, you know, I look at gangs now, and you go, fucking hell, they got a Chinese kid, an Indian kid, they got a Pakistani kid, they got a black kid, they got a white kid, they got like every different nation in that little gang. You know what I mean?
What gangs are about?
Yeah, like you look at gangs and that, nowadays, if you go around looking at gangs, they're all like, well, multicultural. So where's the racism there? Unless someone's bringing that racial stir into it. And the same with feminism and all that. Obviously back in the day, there was, like, women didn't have as much right. But I mean, look, nowadays, look, men, women, blacks, whites, greys, pinks, purples, whatever the fuck you want to call anyone, right? They're all the fucking same.
Yeah.
Everyone's got the same rights, but obviously you have the rich white man who fucking sits there up in his suit, or black man, whoever he is, whoever's sitting up there, want to cause racial tension. Because with racial tension becomes a division, and with division becomes less power. Because if everyone was to be on the same page and go, hold on a minute, no, you are conning us, you are doing this, you are taxing us for no fucking good reason, you are nicking money off of us for no good reason, you know, you're making us live a life that we don't need to live, and all that, do you know what I mean? Because of money, when realistically you don't really need that, you know what I mean? Alright, money's not a bad thing, but why does one person get so much more than the other? Why is that justification? If someone gets out of their bed at 5 o'clock in the morning, don't get home till 5 o'clock at night, right? Why is that one worth more than that one? Just because his job's a little bit different? That's still fucking... Look, I get it, right? People say doctors are clever. Yeah, they're clever. But why does that mean that they're worth more money than the next person? A footballer plays football, all right? Why does that mean he's worth more money than the next person? Why don't everyone just get the same? Because they need classes, because again, it's separation.
No, because people's jobs are different under these different stress levels. Like doctors, for example, they've got people's lives to do.
Yeah, I get that, but you're not getting what I'm saying. See, you are getting what I'm saying, but this is what I'm saying to you. This is where they lead you to believe that. Yeah, they need you to believe that. They need you to believe that one thing's more important than the other. All of our jobs are important. You know, if a mechanic don't fix his car, that doctor's not getting to work. And if that doctor don't get to work, he might not save a person's life. So why is the mechanic's job less important than the doctor's job? Because he could be saving life just by fixing that fucking doctor's car. Yeah? You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is what I'm saying. We're led to believe that things are more important than that saying else, because obviously then it's a control again, isn't it? Because obviously it's the same with classes. The money's more people got more money here, less money here, less. There's a ladder of classes because it's a controlled thing. You know, it's control, isn't it? It's all about control. Because if everybody's all rich and everyone can do what they like, then people will be like, we need to go work. You know what I mean? And they don't need that. They need people. Everyone needs to work. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I get it. I get why they use money. I get why they do it. I do. But it's the whole case of money. Let's be honest. They're saying that we've got a national debt at the moment. There ain't no fucking national debt. That's a load of bullshit. Like I said to you with the money earlier, with the banks and the money's determined, they can print as much money as they like, and it's not going to affect nothing on no one. That's why the Americans do it all the time. If the government goes, oh look, we owe £1 trillion, whack away at a keyboard for a couple of minutes. No, look at that. We don't owe nothing. Back to normal. Economy can start rebooting itself. Now everyone will be alright. But no, with debt is control. That's what I said. Everything right across the board is about the hires having the control of the other people below it.